Get ready, because what you are about to hear will challenge everything you ever imagined about the capabilities of ancient civilizations. Picture a work so colossal, so astonishing, that any modern skyscraper would seem like a child's toy in comparison. We are talking about an architectural enigma that did not arise solely from legends or myths, but from a reality that may have forever altered the course of humanity: the mysterious Tower of Babel. A structure described as over 2,400 meters tall, rivaling even the most advanced engineering technologies of our time. How could a people without machines, cranes, or steel conceive and erect such an extraordinary construction? How could something so grand simply vanish from history as if it never existed? These are the mysteries we are about to uncover, secrets that were dismissed by science for centuries, now resurfacing with astonishing discoveries that challenge what you thought you knew about the ancient world. For a long time, experts treated the Tower of Babel as a myth, a religious exaggeration impossible to achieve with the technology of the era. But a hidden detail in the scriptures would change everything. Modern scientists decided to test the methods described in ancient texts. They molded clay bricks from the same Mesopotamian region and soon discovered that, when sun-dried, they could not withstand significant pressure. This was the limit for any conventional construction. But by following a nearly overlooked instruction, fire them completely, the improbable happened. These blocks, exposed to extreme heat, became 7 times stronger than ordinary bricks, capable of supporting structures that, in theory, could reach up to 3,000 meters in height. Suddenly, the impossible took shape. The legendary Tower of Babel not only seemed plausible, but technically achievable within the constraints of its time. And the secret was not only in the material, but in the almost military-level organization that mobilized over 100,000 workers over 4 decades. Imagine an entire city transformed into a non-stop construction site, operating day and night, without pauses, rest, or interruptions due to weather or religion. Hundreds of thousands of meals were prepared daily, water was transported by caravans from the Euphrates, and men worked until complete exhaustion. But alongside this monumental achievement came a staggering human cost. Reports indicate that dozens of lives were lost daily due to falls, crushings, and extreme fatigue. Over 40 years, more than 150,000 people perished. With each ascending floor, the tower became not only a monument of ambition, but also a silent memorial built upon blood and human sacrifice. Yet the Tower of Babel was more than just height. Behind those walls of brick lay a true labyrinth of secret chambers, spiral staircases, and hidden corridors, transforming the building into a kind of vertical city. Its 7 floors were designed for specific functions: colossal storage at the base, luxurious residences for architects on the 2nd level, and workshops where blacksmiths, carpenters, and potters worked tirelessly on the middle floors. Nothing was improvised. Everything was part of a meticulous plan, reflecting engineering and logistics far beyond what one would expect from a civilization more than 4,000 years ago. At the heart of the Tower of Babel, the 6th level concealed a dark, spiritual secret that few dared to reveal. There, in chambers consecrated to the occult, sacred and disturbing rituals took place. Women danced naked around fires in ceremonies recorded on archaeological tablets with such vivid detail that they revealed not just a religious cult, but the exaltation of human power and the audacity to try to touch the divine with their own hands. Higher up, on the 7th level, lay what many considered the tower's core, the celestial observatory. Priests studied the stars, interpreted signs in the skies, and believed they communicated directly with the gods. The walls, coated with polished bitumen, reflected the torchlight, creating the illusion of an inverted sky inside the temple itself. Here, science, faith, and ambition blended into a spectacle of light and mystery. marking the pinnacle of the construction. But the grandeur of the tower also hid a harsh reality. How could tons of material be transported nearly 2.5 kilometers high without modern machinery? This was the daily challenge faced by thousands of workers. The day began even before sunrise with a meager meal of hard bread and raw onions. Then men carried 15-kilogram bricks in each hand, climbing spiral ramps that wound hundreds of meters around the tower. With no protection, no handrails, a single misstep meant certain death, and many who fell were buried in the tower's own foundations, believed to strengthen the structure with their spirits. For heavier loads, they developed a system of primitive pulleys using logs and palm fiber ropes, pulled in perfect sync by 50 men guided by the beat of drums. A quickened rhythm signaled the passage of an important leader, while sudden silence announced tragedy. Someone had plummeted into the void. The environment was one of sweat, sacrifice, and death. Workers slept in makeshift tents around the base, surrounded by the dense air of bitumen and exhaustion. Still, volunteers never ran out, and the reason was clear: payment in pure silver. In a single month, a worker earned what a farmer would in an entire year. But all of this colossal machinery ground to a sudden halt on a day that would forever mark history. The day humanity's language was shattered. It was the 46th year of construction when, unexpectedly, a mason shouted an order and his assistant simply did not understand. As if speaking different languages, an abyss of incomprehension opened in seconds. What followed was pure chaos. Within minutes, no one could communicate. Orders became meaningless noise, architects gestured in desperation, and workers panicked. On the 6th floor, a group misunderstood the warning about an unstable beam, resulting in immediate deaths. At the base, confused carriers let go of ropes, and tons of material collapsed, crushing dozens of people. The tower, once a symbol of human unity, had become a stage of disconnected screams, fear, and confusion. Babel, once synonymous with greatness, was now the embodiment of total disorder. Within hours, families no longer recognized each other. Parents could not understand their children. Husbands and wives spoke as strangers. Survival instincts forced groups to unite only with those who still shared a similar language. In 3 days, the construction site that had brought together 100,000 men was reduced to fewer than 1,000. The rest fled in all directions, spreading across the world and giving rise to new cultures and nations. The greatest project in human history had been abandoned overnight, leaving only ruins, silence, and the profound mark of divine intervention. But the question remains: why build something so tall? Many believed it was human pride, an attempt to challenge God. However, ancient inscriptions tell a different story. They reveal that the true motivation was not arrogance, but fear. The Great Flood was still a living memory. Only 130 years earlier, the waters had destroyed everything, and Nimrod, grandson of Noah and leader of the construction, had lost family members in the catastrophe. Driven by collective trauma, he decided to erect the tower not merely as a symbol of power, but as a refuge against possible future destruction. An inscription discovered in 1922 translates his true sentiment: "We will never again be caught unprepared." Thus, the Tower of Babel was born not only of pride, but of humanity's fear of facing the wrath of the heavens again. The Tower of Babel was not just a monumental work. It was humanity's ultimate refuge against any future catastrophe. Rising to an incredible 2,400 meters, nothing, not even a flood of biblical proportions, could reach it. Yet its purpose went far beyond survival. From its summit, priests interpreted the skies like elite astrologers, predicting droughts, epidemics, and invasions. Knowledge was power, and absolute power was the ultimate goal. And it wasn't just that. Militarily, the tower acted as a colossal beacon. Visible from any point in Mesopotamia, it intimidated enemy armies and guided lost caravans, consolidating the supremacy of a civilization capable of achieving the impossible. And then comes the greatest mystery of all. How did a structure nearly 2.5 kilometers high simply vanish? Nothing remained. Where mountains of ruins should have been, there is only desert and silence. 3 theories attempt to explain the unexplainable. First, a catastrophic earthquake could have toppled the tower, but there is no geological evidence of seismic activity of that magnitude. Second, perhaps survivors dismantled the tower brick by brick for other constructions. However, over 600 million bricks vanished without a trace. The third theory, the most controversial, suggests supernatural disintegration. Ancient texts mention a celestial fire capable of reducing the entire structure to dust, explaining the complete absence of remains. At the top, 2,470 meters above the ground, lay the most secret and feared chamber in all of Babylon. Only the high priests and their virgin priestesses were allowed to enter. There, rituals sought to open a dimensional portal, a pathway between worlds, according to ancient beliefs. A 30-meter diameter obsidian circle, engraved with astronomical symbols, surrounded a golden altar where priestesses danced under the full moon. Their blood, mixed with liquid mercury, formed a magic mirror that supposedly reflected other dimensions. Many went insane, losing their sanity, and according to accounts, some even dissolved into light before touching the ground, leaving the question, was the confusion of languages divine punishment or an accident from human experiments with unknown dimensions? And it was not magic or alien intervention that enabled the construction. It was pure alchemy and ancestral ingenuity. The bricks were made from rare clay from the Euphrates and fired at 800 degrees Celsius, altering their molecular structure and making them stronger than natural stone. The final secret lay in natural bitumen, a black, petroleum-like substance from the ground, which, when heated, penetrated the pores and bonded the bricks with a strength surpassing modern cement. So strong that even 4,000 years later, traces of these bricks remain fused together, impossible to separate. This combination of science, alchemy, and human organization turned the Tower of Babel into a monument that still defies our understanding of what was possible. Each brick of the Tower of Babel was an ancient engineering masterpiece, weighing 15 kilograms and impressively large in size. To complete the colossal structure, a staggering 600 million bricks were required, produced in an industrial operation manufacturing 50,000 pieces per day, every day of the year, with kilns running continuously. Entire forests were consumed as fuel to feed these kilns, showcasing the level of organization and intensity necessary to keep the project moving. It was a human and natural machinery operating in absolute synchrony, a true ancient industry dedicated to creating something that seemed impossible for the era. The Tower of Babel, therefore, is not just a construction, it is the ultimate symbol of human ambition, the materialization of the desire to reach the heavens and challenge limits. It represents the first truly global project, bringing together resources, knowledge, and workforce on an unprecedented scale. And its fall not only ended an architectural era, but also marked the birth of the cultural diversity we know today. From the ruins of Babel emerged distinct languages, separate cultures, and entire nations, showing that from destruction can come a new order. What really happened at the top of the tower remains one of the greatest mysteries in human history. Was it divine judgment, an experiment that transcended dimensions, or merely the inevitable limit of human ambition confronting the immutable laws of the universe? The fact is that the Tower of Babel left an impressive legacy, proof that, when united by a common purpose, humans can achieve feats that defy imagination. It is a powerful lesson on respecting ambition and collective potential, reminding us that great dreams require courage, organization, and vision. Even today, lost in the sands of time, the tower guards secrets of an ancient technology capable of transforming simple clay into the tallest structure ever erected by humanity. Perhaps, just perhaps, we are reaching a point where we can rediscover these forgotten secrets. But one thing is certain. The story of the Tower of Babel teaches us that human daring knows no limits, and that even in the face of tragedies and mysteries, humanity will always find ways to dream and build the impossible. Until the next video, may God be with you.